Welcome back to Real TV, and I'm Stephen King, the real Stephen King. You know, and this whole thing about telling the Aboriginals of this country, the natives of this country, to go back to Africa, and how history tries to paint this whole narrative of the transatlantic slave trade and this North and South paradigm. The more information that comes out, it shatters the lies. Now let me show y'all something. See, I'm from Chicago, and everybody know about how racist Illinois is, Chicago is. But this is the old slave house of John Crenshaw, who was embedded deep within the country in the 1800s. So much so that Abraham Lincoln even stayed at this house, well entrenched, owned over 11,000 acres of land, and leased over 30,000 more acres of land, had over 700 prisoners of war on his plantation for various duties, mostly involving the salt trade. Now, this place is 5 hours from Chicago. And for you brothers that have been down to the penitentiaries down here, that's what got me really to thinking. Like, I can remember going to the joint at 19 years old and really feeling what my ancestors felt, being shackled up in them bluebirds and being taken down there to Shawnee to downstate Illinois. And see, this place ain't too far from Shawnee. But this is the real history of America. This is that middle passage, not the Atlantic. See, this man operated for over 30 years, and one of his hustles was kidnapping. He was kidnapping people, man. He wasn't just kidnapping people, they were breeding people, our people, on his land, man. This is the evil that exists. This is the history that so-called scholars and historians try to whitewash. This is the information that they keep from the young boys and girls to try to make them feel like they had some type of safe haven within the northern parts of America. It was no safe havens. You were safe nowhere. This man would send his goons out. They would act like they were cool, and they had these laws on the books where slavery was to be quote unquote illegal in the state of Illinois, but they were still participating in these acts. They were still participating in kidnapping and enslaving people and forcing them to work for the benefit of these Europeans, man. This is how these people were able to get so rich and powerful. This is the reason why the state of Illinois to this day has a majority of our people inside of these prisons in southern Illinois. See, not to know your history blinds a man to the realities of the world that we exist in. And to be blind is to walk in ignorance, where you allow yourself to be caught up in the schemes and these traps that have constantly been set for you, not just in your lifetime, but your father's lifetime, your grandfather's lifetime, and your great-grandfather's lifetime, because it's been a war that's constantly being waged against you. See, you had no friends. Nobody is innocent in this takeover of the Americas that murdered, killed, and enslaved your ancestors. See, this man was so powerful that They allowed him to operate under the color of law legally to have these prisoners of war on his plantation in the state of Illinois. This wasn't a secret. He was entrenched in the political structures that existed at that time. So-called Abraham Lincoln, the friend of the Aborigines of America, was never a friend. He stayed and dined at this man's house, and he knew what was going on in this house because he used this house to operate in his kidnapping business. The third floor had over 15 rooms with people locked in them. So you mean to tell me that no one knew what was going on? Yeah, they was clear about what was going on because that was the business of the day, of that day, and it's the business of today, because this is where all these penitentiaries are at in Southern Illinois. Whole bunch of them down there. And these people are still eating and benefiting off the enslavement of black flesh. But to be aware is to be alive. Understanding that the past gives you snapshots of the future. And if you fail to see the reality of the world that you live in, you will get ensnared in the trap. So history is important. The real history of America is important that they try to hide so much. But y'all make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to Real TV. And let me know how y'all feel about this story. Leave a comment down below. And continue to awaken. Continue to search and dig. Because the truth, the real truth, shall set you free. I'll talk to you guys later.